Hi everyone, thanks again for joining us on another installment of Psi-Friday with Mason. This is Mason Winfield, and today we're talking about the first of a two-parter, Spirit Pond, Part 1 and 2. This is 1. You know, I'm not a ghost hunter. I'm not a psychic. Those types of approaches to supernatural / paranormal sites, or I should say potentially supernatural paranormal, they're experiential. They're from the moment of the experience forward. What happens when they're on the site? My research is exactly different from that. It's the backstory. It's roots up. It's layers. It's based on patience, experience, a lot of time in libraries with books, talking to historians, traveling, interviewing people. This is the hard, in my opinion, that might be the hard part. Thus, when people call me out of the blue, and I don't know who they are, and they ask me for research help, my antenna go up a little bit. A couple days ago, a woman contacted me through, I don't know, Facebook, text, I forgot. She found me and she was asking for information about a little pond and swimming club in the town of Elma, New York, which is straight north of East Aurora in Erie County, near Buffalo. And it's a tiny pond, I mean, just a couple of acres. It's not geologically or historically prominent enough for anything to be published about it. And my antenna went up. Because you see, I've had some nightmares in the paranormal field. People try to get my type of research out of me without offering anything back. And they're some of the time through, kind of backhanded means. For one thing, I've got a couple of examples. A TV personality whose name you would know. He's a paranormal personality. When he was working on the first season of this show, contacted me and tried to get me to do a bunch of research for him on a site he was planning on looking up. And I told him then that I'd be happy to do that, but I would do it for on-air time. I'm not writing up my insights and contributing my work to make you or some TV personality look smart. Either I deliver it or you don't get it. Needless to say, never heard from him. And you know who that is, and he's got himself into some trouble since. But one time, a psychic from Toronto called me to ask me some research questions about a Buffalo building. Now, I had that building very well researched. I had a lot of material on it, stuff that's never been published. And when I asked her what she was working on, she said she was getting ready for a TV performance on a Buffalo TV station. And I got it out of her who it was, and I knew the host of that TV program. I had been on it. And I said, well, if the host wants my research for this site, have the host call me. But the psychic was doing a little bit of scouting to make herself look smart, and she wasn't a researcher. And I found that a little off-putting, and I didn't help her out. Another one, this was about 2 years ago. I got a call from a lady in London. Lovely accent, lovely talking to her, but she was trying to write up the script of a walking tour, a ghost walk of a Western New York site. And she figured she'd call me for a little insight. And I knew the site. It was a ghost hunting site in the area that's pretty heavily commercialized. So these people evidently were recruiting her to write up a walking tour for a site. They were going to use it to make money. So she contacted me, and I go, well, I could probably do that. But This would have to be a business arrangement. I mean, I know the owners of that building. They just call me up and ask me, but we're going to have to work on it that way. And as far as I know, the event has not happened. I think the funniest of them was, like, probably about 15 years ago, I was hired by a women's spirituality conference to deliver a ghost walk of Chautauqua, the Chautauqua Institution. That's where the conference was. And writing up a one-time ghost walk, that's a lot of work. It is, the way I do it, that it's serious research. It takes you a couple of days. And that's if the material is easy to find. And it's a nice walking tour. It's many hours of sustained work. And you've got to know what you're looking for. If you're just a newbie, I can't imagine how long it would take you. So about 5 years after that event, where I gave a tour, led the hundreds of women around, seemed to go well. But the institution is not interested in spontaneous spirituality like ghosts. So they would never allow this type of walking tour. You can't do it in season. But anyway, a couple of years later, I got a call from a woman who asked me for the script to the Chautauqua Institution Ghost Walk that I had written. I said, well, what are you working on? She goes, I was thinking about writing up a ghost walk. I was thinking to myself, well, that would be pretty easy if I sent you the script, wouldn't it? Whoa, one heck of a researcher there. And needless to say, I told her they're not going to let you do it anyway, but I didn't cooperate, but I was respectful to people. But the research techniques are not those of the mainstream academia in the paranormal. So that's why my antennae go up. But it turns out that this call from the Western New York resident, the lady turned out to be very sincere. She's not a rival ghost hunter. She's not working for somebody in big time media. She was just curious about what I knew about her club, her swimming club. And I'm going to help her. For now, stay tuned for part 2 on Spirit Pond. This is Mason Winfield of Psi-Friday with Mason. See you next week.